Hello everyone, welcome again to Indian Story Read Along. Today's story I wanted to read just around the time of Ganesha Chaturthi, which happens end of August, early September sometimes, but this is more of an environmental story. It's called Ganesha Goes Green and it's an illustrated storybook. It's by Lakshmi Thamizhmani and Debasmita Dasgupta. So Tamilian and a Bengali. Ganesha Goes Green. Prema breathed in deep inhaling the sweet smells of incense of jasmine in the air. The market bustled with crowds shopping for Ganesha statues, paper umbrellas, and mango leaf decorations for the upcoming Ganesha Chaturthi festival. So there they are, they're going to the temple market and everybody is set up with all their Ganesha stuff. Everyone came together to celebrate Ganesha, the elephant-headed Hindu god of new beginnings. They fasted, chanted prayers, and offered coconut jaggery dumplings. At the end of the festival, they placed Ganesha statues in the river. And I believe that Mumbai is huge for this. But every year, the painted plaster statues fell apart, choking the city's river, harming its fish, and polluting the water that fed the crops and people. The chemicals in the paints had made Prema's mother sick and unable to work or afford living in the city, forcing them to move to the village. That's terrible. You can see the paint and all the chemicals in there that are... So the reason that they put everything in the river is that when you are no longer able to, or you are finished worshiping a deity or a statue in Hinduism, you must submerge it in a body of water. And so that was fine if you're talking about something that was made from the minerals and the substances that already came from the earth, because you're just putting it back into the earth, and that's the way that we did things for centuries and millennia to keep everything sustainable. That's what indigenous cultures do. But it just got into chemicals and modern stuff, and we still kept doing the old traditions, but with a new bunch of junk that we're putting into our waterways. And so this has become a problem lately. On her way to fetch water, Prema stopped by a statue shop and asked, "Do your statues harm the river?" "My statues are beautiful, not harmful," the statue seller scowled. "Newspapers print nonsense." Shaking her head, Prema walked away. So he didn't say no. He didn't say no, they don't, which means that he does not know, or he's trying to deny how environmentally sound his statues are, whatever he's selling. Meandering through the market, that means kind of like weaving in and out through the marketplace, Prema reached the riverbank. The river shone like a sea of sparkly jewels. Prema stepped into it. Her bare feet sank into the smooth, silky earth. The cool clay gave her an idea. Clay was costly and scarce in the city, but the village had plenty, right beneath her feet. She filled a bucket with river clay and hurried towards home. And this is what you guys are going to find all the time. The easiest, probably the most environmentally friendly materials with which to make anything come straight from the earth. On her way back, she ran into her friends. "We're going to the temple to get payasam prasadam. Want to join us?" her best friend Mani asked. Payasam prasadam is, it might be kheer in North India. It's a sweet, milky rice dish. Sometimes it's very loose, sometimes it's a little thicker. It has rice, maybe some cardamom, sugar, of course, and it's always prasadam, or offerings at the temple. So her best friend Mani asks her if they want to come to the temple with us. Every day, the priest offered sweet payasam prasadam to Ganesha in worship and distributed them to devotees after prayer. Prema's tongue tingled at the tempting thought of the warm, sugary pudding melting in her mouth. "Maybe later," Prema replied, feeling the weight of the clay in her bucket. "I have to work on a very important project first." Back home, Prema imagined how her Ganesha would look. She made 2 balls and set one on top of the other. Plop, the slippery clay didn't hold its shape. "My Ganesha looks nothing like the others," she thought. What she couldn't do, she can keep trying again. She tried again, this time drying the clay to harden it. But her hands couldn't create what her mind had pictured. Remembering that Ganesha was the Lord of removing obstacles, she said a quiet prayer. And this isn't always, like, praying isn't like you're believing in some kind of magical sky god or sky daddy or something like that to make something happen for you. Praying is actually, you center your thoughts, you focus, you calm your mind down, and you get all the unnecessary things that are cluttering your mind outside of it. So that's what it actually does on a neurological level. Not like someone's going to give you something, boom, just like that. You focus yourself so you can do the task. Prema studied a painting of Ganesha, then rolled 2 spheres, one for Ganesha's head and the other for his body. Good place to start. She shaped logs for his trunk, hands, and legs. Then she added flaps for his ears and a crown for his head. Finally, Prema sat back and smiled at her work. Amma, see what I made. Prema showed the statue to her mother. It's natural and unique. If only everyone had one. Amma sighed. Natural and unique. Encouraged, Prema collected and prepared more clay. She sculpted another Ganesha, and another, but there were too many Ganeshas to make and only one Prema. This is adorable. Are you making statues for the entire village? The statue seller taunted. Clay statues can crack. Nobody will want them for prayers. But here's the thing. If they crack, they're not going to crack immediately. You can't use them forever. But Ganesha Chaturthi is only one day. You make a statue for the moment. And then you submerge it. So you don't need something that's going to be long-lasting and full of plaster and paint and chemicals. People flooded the statue sellers' shops to buy plaster statues. Prema's eyes swelled with tears. I can patch my clay statues if they crack, but my few statues won't be enough to keep the river clean, she thought. If only I had 4 hands like Ganesha, I could make more statues faster. Dong, dong. Temple bells gonged in melodic rhythms. Prema dashed to meet Mani, her best friend at the temple, at the kovil. You made this all by yourself? Mani asked. I haven't seen any like it at the market. It's small and will dissolve without poisoning the water. I can't let another river become polluted and make people like my amma sick, Prema said. But I can't make a difference by myself. Mani smiled. Maybe not, but together we can. Will you help me make a statue? And here we go. Their friends Ravi, Kumari, Amir, Noor, and Deepa crowded around. That looks like fun, they chorused. And they're natural and safe for the river, Prema and Mani replied. Can you teach us? Sure. As Prema and Mani collected more clay and water, Ravi set up a Is it Ravi? I thought it would be Ravi, but there's 2 A's in there. Ravi set up a makeshift statue making stand using old wooden boxes. Kumari and Noor gathered seeds for the statue's eyes. For decoration, Deepa and Amir made leaf umbrellas and garlands from cactus flowers and Bermuda grass. Prema chanted, Ganesha Goes Green. Let's keep our river clean. Ganesha Goes Green. We got a banner up and everything. And there's all their materials. All the children are helping. More kids flocked to learn from Prema and her friends. The children got busy teaching each other and making more statues, painting them with natural dyes and decorating them with flowers, grass, and leaves. You know one thing that pretty much every Indian kitchen has that is a natural dye? It's haldi. Manjal, turmeric. You can't get turmeric off of anything. It's not even you don't have to try to color it, anything with that. You cannot get it off of anything, which is why we always use stainless steel patrams and pots and pans for everything, because it's the only thing it'll scrub off of. That's a natural dye. Over the next few days, the village celebrated Ganesha Chaturthi. At the end of the festival, dancing to drum beats, Prema joined a singing sea of people taking their statues to the river. Most people brought plaster statues, but Mani, Ravi, Amir, Kumari, Deepa, Noor, and all their friends carried clay ones. Ganesha goes green. Let's keep the river clean, they cheered. Your statues are the talk of the village, Mani's dad said. I must admit, your statues are a hit. The statue seller said. Can we team up next year to make more? Prema's heart overflowed with happiness. The river glistened like a golden ribbon in the sunlight. As Prema stepped into the river, the cool clay tickled her bare feet. She placed her Ganesha into the water. People chanted, "Come again soon, Ganesha," Prema whispered to the river. "We'll take care of you." She watched her statue become one with the water and the earth. The end. So here's a little bit about Ganesha Chaturthi. It's celebrated during the 6th month of the Hindu calendar, like I said, August or September. And this is like a huge parade thing. Even if you're not Hindu, a lot of people come to these festivals. Now India has been trying to do things in a more environmentally friendly way, like our ancestors have. It's just going back to our ancient cultures and rejecting all of this modern Western stuff that has seeped into our culture. So what they do is, as I mentioned, Prema mentioned many times, that painted plaster will pollute rivers and oceans, and some people are putting their statues in water tubs just for the festival, and some people are celebrating with eco-friendly statues. Do you know, so in Canada, we don't have any river or anything, and we might get arrested or fined or something if we go try to put something in our local creek. So what my mother always did is every time she was making ulindabade for the festival, she always took a little bit of the maavu, a little bit of batter, and then what she did is she took a little tiny thing, formed it into like a little mini Ganesha thing, and put it on top of the stove. And after that, we would put that Ganesha into our garden for the bugs and the worms and the birds to eat. So that's what our culture has always been, coming from the earth, going back into the earth. So this is a big instruction book. If you ever get a booklet, if you ever get this book, you might be able to find out how you can make a very eco-friendly Ganesha. So this is Ganesha Goes Green. It brings up a very, very important point about our environment and also about our culture and our heritage. Join us again if you want stories like this from Indian Story Read Along. Think about subscribing to the channel if you want to follow us for many more stories. We'll see you soon.